Matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com.
All right, folks, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Markets are closed. Take a look all over the board today, by the way, in the markets. Down early, down through the night. 300-400 points in the Dow through the night. They're worried about inflation. Inflation came out this morning, came out very tame, more tame than they thought it was going to be. Rocketed straight up, 400 points up, and we're going to end somewhere almost unchanged, about 35 points higher in the Dow. Only 3 points higher in the S&P, a little bit lower in the NASDAQ. So very, very quiet close after a wild whipsaw, two-directional thing. The good news is inflation seems to be taming, and President Trump has been saying exactly that. Jumping over to the oil market, down a little bit, 25 cents. Nothing crazy, still way too high, almost $63 a barrel. The gold, see what happened today in gold? Yesterday was down $150. Back up 100 today and back up over $5,050 to the gold ounce. Silver, $77 to the silver. And then crypto bounced a little today. Bounced a little, certainly not like the old days of crypto, you know what I'm talking about. Up a couple $1,000s in Bitcoin. All right, so if you're 64 years or older, this is a very, very important message to you. Every year, too many seniors realize their Medicare plan doesn't cover the doctors that they want to use and the ones they trust. Suddenly, you're stuck finding new doctors or overpaying by thousands of dollars. That's Medicare for you. You can spend hours researching, doing everything right, and still end up on a plan that costs you thousands. More than you should be spending. That's why Real America's Voice has partnered with Chapter. Chapter is the only national advisor that compares every Medicare plan. On average, they save people $1,100 a year on average. One caller named Jill said her Chapter advisor showed her options she didn't even see on Medicare's own website. That's exactly how broken the Medicare system is. Chapter is a free resource, free for my audience, and can review all your options in under 20 minutes. So if you're on Medicare now or will be soon, call our friends over at Chapter at 814-CHAPTER, 814-CHAPTER. It's help you can trust. All right, our first guest is a former CIA covert operations officer, now CEO of Portman Square Group. Also has that daily podcast called The President's Daily Brief. Happy to bring back Mr. Mike Baker on the show. Mike, we wanted to talk, so there's so many things to talk about. I just want to stay on Minneapolis for a second. The Trump administration says Operation Metro Surge is winding down in Minneapolis. More than 3,000 ICE agents were sent to Minneapolis, and over 4,000 undocumented immigrants have been arrested. But the question is, MAGA's listening closely to you, Mike, is this the right thing to do to leave? Is it the right thing to do?
Well, they're not leaving entirely, and Tom Homan was pretty clear about that. Look, I think he's doing the right thing by dialing it back. They have improved the cooperation with local law enforcement. Look, none of this would be something we'd be talking about, and I would argue we could have avoided those two tragic shootings that are still under investigation. If there had been that cooperation to begin with, and you know, I turn around and say, look, it's the sanctuary city, sanctuary state policies that prevent ICE from doing what they're supposed to be doing according to federal law. And, you know, they instead have to go out in the communities. They're engaged in activity they shouldn't be engaged in because they're not supposed to be out there also providing crowd control and perimeter security for their operations, which could have taken place in local prisons, picking up people who had been detained. Those are the priority targets, of course. But, you know, the sanctuary city leadership, they want to stand around and act like they have no responsibility for any of this. But Tom Homan said they're going to have some federal agents still in place to continue their work. But I do think that, you know, he's probably doing the right move. He's a very smart guy. Look, he was awarded a medal for immigration by President Obama. So both sides should be able to agree with some of his policies. My
issue here, I'm pure MAGA, OG MAGA, in fact. So here's the issue. Trump said there's a problem. We had anywhere between 9 and 19 billion, according to Trump. Other people are saying $9 billion of fraud coming out of Minneapolis. And there was Somalians specifically. Some of them may have been illegal. So Trump sent a big force over there, a surge into Minneapolis. Mayor, we know all the story. Get the F out of here, ICE. The local officials get the F out of here, ICE. And at some point, we on the right were classifying it as domestic terrorists, right? Because they were tormenting ICE, they were protecting the Somalians, they were protecting people that shouldn't be here. And so the pivot happened when Trump said, okay, we'll leave after 2 people lost their lives, but frankly, they're putting themselves in harm's way. We'll leave. It definitely toned down the temperature in Minneapolis, but the message it sends, if you want to bring someone in federally into a city or state that's having problems, now you can protest and get law enforcement or Trump to leave if you protest loud enough?
Well, they've arrested hundreds who were involved in impeding the actions of the authorities. And that's, again, that's a law. It's on the books, right? That's what you're supposed to do. They can protest. They just can't impede as they had been doing, as they were encouraging.
Mike, you're getting me wrong. You're getting me wrong. The message of when they tell you to get the F out and then the administration, the law enforcement gets the F out because people didn't like to be held accountable for what they were doing. You're sending a message that if you protest loud enough against ICE or DHS or Trump, they'll leave. I think it's the wrong message. It's me.
Yeah, I think you're right. No, I don't think it's just you. I think it's right. People are going to, on a particular side, and by that I mean the hard left, are going to interpret it that way. I think other people are going to be a little bit more rational. They're going to look at this and they're going to understand it is, what it is. The problem I have with the fraud, which is incredibly important, but the two issues got conflated. Right, the issue of going out there, arresting the worst of the worst, the criminal element within the illegal immigrant population, picking those people up, it got conflated with this fraud, which has to be followed through. That you've got to investigate, but it's not the same thing. The ICE operation on the street to pick up people who, frankly, they should have been picking up in local prisons if, again, the sanctuary city leadership had allowed it. They're not supposed to be doing the fraud investigation. That fraud investigation is ongoing, but it needs to be monitored very closely, because I guarantee you, if they're allowed to let it slide, to get off the radar screen, to disappear under the rug, they'll do it. That has to be followed through, because it's not just in Minnesota where that sort of fraud, that level of fraud has been taking place.
I want to show you an interchange. Keith Ellison, who should be on the hook, Attorney General of Minnesota, under his watch and under the watch of Tim Walz, the governor, somewhere between $9 and $19 billion have been stolen from the people of this country, not just Minnesota, but this country. He's a top law enforcement officer in the state. He had a back and forth that was pretty, I call it disgusting. Watch this man's attitude, knowing that under his watch, at least $9 billion are missing. Go, watch.
I can't imagine being a law enforcement official where I know my colleagues have been shot at, their vehicles rammed, that there are trained activists deployed. And by the way, we know at least one of those activists had a semi-automatic pistol with extra clips. A tragedy was going to happen, and you encouraged it. And you ought to feel damn guilty about it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, sit there and smirk. Smirk. It's sick. It is despicable.
Are you asking me for comment, Senator? Because everything you said was untrue. It was a nice theatrical performance, but it was all lies.
I call that a smug SOB. But Mike, your thoughts on why is he not concerned about what's going to come when we start really digging into what happened in Minneapolis?
Well, I mean, he should be. At best, he was just completely negligent in doing his duty and following through this. It didn't just spring up that there were concerns over large-scale fraud in some of the programs there in Minnesota. It had been bubbling away for a while, but they just couldn't be bothered for whatever reason. And again, it could be just ignorance, could be willful ignorance, it could be involvement. Who knows? That's all speculation at this point. But he should be concerned. And all I would say again is we can't let the spotlight off of that fraud investigation. Fraud investigations are fairly straightforward efforts. I'm in a company, we do them all the time, all around the world. There's a methodology to it. It takes some time, but you work your way through it. You follow the money, you understand it, and then there has to be consequences.
Whoa, stop right there. Stop right there. And then there has to be consequences, because the rest is pomp and circumstance, and the rest is what we've got for the entirety of this country, right? So, they're bad over there. We're going to get them. Getting power. Oh, we're going to get them because they've been doing. We find out what they've been doing, and then it stops there, Mike. It just stops there. You don't see the perp walk. You don't see the jail cell door close.
No, and I say this all the time. Look, Washington, D.C. is a place where investigations go to die. We seem to have moved far away from the idea that bad behavior has consequences. So I'm not confident that there will be consequences. I say that there should be. But again, the only way to try to drive towards that is to maintain a focus on it, maintain a spotlight on it. And frankly, a lot of the media would just be happy to let that go away because they love the narrative that this was all about ICE. And you can see how quickly that fraud situation slipped off the radar for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're going to leave it there, Mike. And the problem is both sides promise perp walks, promise accountability, promise transparency, and we just don't seem to get it. By the way, folks, we're going to say goodbye to Mike Baker. Always good to have you on, Mike. Appreciate your time. President's Daily Brief podcast host. Thank you, Mike.
Take care, man.
And folks, we were looking at President Trump as I guess he was at Fort Bragg. Now, is this joint base Andrews, guys, or where is this shot right here? At Fort Bragg. Okay, so that's Trump in Fort Bragg. All right, folks, we just premiered brand new Important Edge episode yesterday morning, and it's. Oh, wait, we're going to hold that thought for a second. Listen.
So we had a great visit at Fort Bragg. We saw a lot of heroes, and as you probably heard, we're going to be giving one particular person the Congressional Medal of Honor for what just took place in Venezuela. And met a lot of people right now. We were there for quite a while, and it was beautiful. These are great warriors. These are great patriots, and they're in very good shape, I will tell you that.
What can Iran do to avoid attack?
Give us the deal that they should have given us the first time. If they give us the right deal, we won't do that. But, historically, they haven't done that. I will say they want to talk, but so far they do a lot of talking and no action.
When are those talks, Mr. President?
They've already started.
Do you want regime change in Iran?
Well, it seems like that would be the best thing that could happen. For 47 years, they've been talking and talking and talking. In the meantime, we've lost a lot of lives while they talk, and legs blown off, arms blown off, faces blown off. It's been going on for a long time, so let's see what happens. In the meantime, we have tremendous power has arrived, and additional power, as you know, another carrier is going out shortly. So we'll see it out. If we could get it settled for once and for all, that would be good.
Who do you want to take over?
What?
Who would you want to take over?
I don't want to talk about that.
Have you spoken
There are people.
Secretary Duffy since Wednesday's incident?
He's doing a great job.
Inside that the irradiated nuclear sites have been totally obliterated. What's left to go after?
Well, you can get whatever the dust is down there. That's really the least of the mission. If we do it, that would be the least of the mission. But we, probably grab whatever's left. It has been obliterated, as you know.
Would you accept anything less than zero nuclear enrichment?
We don't want any enrichment. We don't want enrichment. Thank you very much, everybody.
And there he goes, off to, I guess, I don't know if he's coming back to Palm Beach or D.C., but we'll keep an eye on it. We'll take a look into it. And if he does get off the plane and have more comments, we'll, as always, Real America's Voice, we'll take those comments. All right, like I was saying, we just premiered a brand new and Important Edge episode yesterday, one of our best. Did you know right now, artificial intelligence is profiling everything you and I do, what we buy, when we buy it. Even now, it's smart enough to figure out how much we're willing to pay for things even before we even realize how much we're willing to pay for things. That's how smart AI is getting. So we exposed a devious trick. Major retailers, not just small, we're talking Walmart, we're talking Amazon, we're talking Kroger Foods on the West Coast. A scam they're pulling on customers to extract maximum amounts of money from us. The grocery store. Picture this. You walk into a store after work. You're exhausted. You're hungry. You just want to pick something up and go home. It's been a long day. The system knows that. It knows your phone, your routine, your spending patterns. The price you see is not the best price. It's the maximum price the algorithm thinks you'll tolerate. Is that fair? It's not what's equal, but the max, and they know from your own history, they know the max and they know you'll fork it over. By the way, that's not capitalism. Capitalism requires transparency. This is algorithmic extraction, and it doesn't stop at income. It's called dynamic pricing, and The Edge just exposed that it's being used, grocery stores, department stores, and more. Just hit your QR code, point the camera right at that one. You're going to want to watch this episode. It's unbelievable. Same people, same products, same time, same store, same checkout aisle, two different prices. Absolute BS, folks. Eric Bolling, The Edge, look it up. Anyway, we need you to subscribe. Why don't you watch it, but please subscribe. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Exactly what they're doing. They want to steal the election. We're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol. They need to take back our country.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn.
January 6th wasn't just a moment in history. For thousands of Americans, it was the moment their voices were taken.
It's insurrection.
They were persecuted, hunted,
seditious conspiracy.
but behind prison walls, something unexpected happened. They found their voice again.
Started singing the national anthem.
We took it up to him at Mar-a-Lago. He goes, I'll put my voice on it.
Our supporters made this go platinum.
Real America's Voice is telling the real story of January 6th like you've never seen it before.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This is not the story you were shown.
I take responsibility.
This is the story they live.
Government entrapment scheme that this actually was.
The J6 Patriots are no longer staying silent. They are speaking, they are standing, and they are telling the truth.
You can't kill us. You can't beat us.
Scan the QR code or visit RealAmericasVoice.com. Real America's Voice presents The Sleeping Giant. Available now.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
All right, there's serious concern over chemicals and contaminants that are in our drinking water. Nationwide testing has clearly proven the presence of these contaminants and how they're responsible for many chronic health problems, even diseases like cancer and others. Here to weigh in on this very concerning issue is home improvement expert Skip Bedell. Skip, really good to have you. Hey. This is one of the most important things we can talk about. The water we're drinking and the water we're putting on our bodies and our families' bodies. Tell us about the contaminants in this water.
Yeah, Eric, so, we see it all the time in the news stories. There's so much, and it's been going on for years now, but lately it seems it's really been ramped up. Stuff like lead, mercury, arsenic, and now we're seeing the last number of years a big spike in PFAS or PFAs, known as forever chemicals, right? Yeah. They're showing up across the country.
Plastics.
And, so from manufacturing, the chemicals they use in manufacturing to make basically everything. Our clothes and textiles and furniture, technology, anything that has like plastic in it, those chemicals are in there. Getting into our drinking water, and now they've confirmed that it's actually cancer causing. And we see a big spike in health problems. A lot of Americans, we're seeing the numbers in cancer rise, internal health problems, also things like I might have mentioned to you in an earlier show, things like people are complaining the last number of years of a lot of chronic fatigue, chronic inflammation around their body, brain fog, things like that. Alzheimer's is on the rise. So we look at all these these chemicals that are in our water, and we say, like, it's definitely a direct response to the spike and things that are going on. And a lot of people are under the impression, I want to say a false sense of security, that if we filter our drinking water, or we only drink bottled water, right? Like, I don't have to worry about it because I'm not putting it in my body. I don't drink it. I filter everything. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. What I've said so many times, these appearances, and I was one that thought that way too, but after doing the deep research and speaking to so many doctors and scientists, really educating myself about that, you find out that your skin takes in more of those chemicals than you ever could by drinking it. When we shower and bathe, for example, like a 10-minute shower, like a hot shower, your body can take in up to 6 ounces of chemicals.
6 ounces.
6 ounces of chlorine, chemicals.
6?
Yeah, believe it or not, yes.
This little vessel right here is about a half an ounce. So 12 of these in a shower, your body could be ingesting those chemicals.
That's correct. So because your skin is the largest organ on your body, it takes in everything like a sponge. And that's why there's so many medications that were prescribed by doctors that are said to apply topically, because it's one of the fastest ways to get anything into your body. It goes directly through your skin, into your blood, bypassing your digestive tract, right into your blood. So when you're showering, you're soaking yourself in these water, all those chemicals that you're hearing about, the PFAS and the lead and the mercury, you're like, I don't need to worry about it. No, you're taking it in through your skin, right into your blood. And even worse yet, when you stand there and you inhale the vapors from the shower, the mist and the steam, now it's vaporized and it's highly concentrated. You take that into your lungs, directly into your blood. So nobody thinks about that. And I too didn't think about it until I started getting educated on this. I'm like, now I'm standing in the shower and I'm like, what? This is like, now it's scary, like, what am I doing? So,
and you're looking at that shower water going, that's not filtered. That's going to hit me.
Exactly.
Those are chemicals.
But I got a filter on my refrigerator, or I only drink bottled water. So, I'm good. And, after you find out really the science behind it, you understand what's going on, and we wonder why things are on the rise. So I brought along this little kit. This is just a basic pool test kit. Anybody that has a pool has seen one of these. It comes with some chemicals in it that you can test for things. The easiest thing to test for in our water, just to do a demonstration that's fast, is chlorine, because every municipal water system, every city across the country, over 50,000 water municipalities use chlorine to sanitize the water. Now, we're going to test for chlorine today with this. It shows up very quickly with a color yellow if it interacts with chlorine. But the purpose of this test, more than showing chlorine, is that how quickly it goes into your skin. So what I want to do is I'm going to stick my hand in this glass just for a minute or so. And if you want to just put like maybe 3 or 4 drops, 5 drops, into that glass.
3, 4,
5 glass. And we'll give this like maybe a minute, right? Let my skin, just my hands sit in this glass. And by the way, these were filled up right from the bathroom sink that you have right here, right? So there's no filter on this building. There's no filtration system. It's just basic municipal water, which everybody has. And by the way, Florida has like one of the highest chlorine contents, I'm sure.
Can I just tell you something else? It'll blow you away, folks. If every municipality has to post what's in their drinking water, it's what's in their water, right?
Yeah.
There are levels of fecal material that are acceptable. Think about that for a second. There's an acceptable level. I mean, it's not 0 either. Can you imagine how much bad things you're getting by not filtering your water?
It's when people say acceptable levels of fecal matter, I don't see how any of that is acceptable.
So it's turning yellow. It's detecting chlorine.
It is, yeah. So it'll start to turn yellow now, and you're seeing that there's chlorine, and it detects it pretty quickly. Hopefully, they can see it on camera. You're going to get a pretty dark yellow there, and it's because there is a lot of chlorine in the water. Now, again, I'm testing for chlorine, but more importantly, I want to really show the difference between that glass and this glass, because I've had my hand in it for a little while now. So it's only been about a minute or so. Typically a shower, you're going to take a little bit longer.
See the yellow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can see the yellow. All right, so we can go ahead and it's actually not quite as dramatic on camera, but you get the idea.
I'm seeing a lot of yellow. So,
okay, let's go ahead and try this. Put in like the same amount of drops that you put in that one into the other glass where my hand was, and let's see what happens.
In this one?
Yep, okay. Just like 3 or 4 drops in that one is good. Okay, that's cool. Let's see what happens with this. We'll give it a minute also to interact about the same way. So basically, by having your skin exposed to that water, your skin is sponging in whatever's in it, right? So that's what we're going to show here. And it's really important when you set up something like this. And by the way, this is what I used in my house. It's a whole house water filter, and it really kind of solves the problem for you, because you put this right where your water enters the building, right where your main shut-off valve is. It's a super easy installation. There's just one hose in and one hose out that goes back to your house. Very fast install, about maybe 30, 40 minutes. And then what this does, all the water has to pass through this unit before everything.
Faucets.
So every shower,
ice maker,
everything is completely filtered. You know,
and your showers, yeah.
Everything, yeah, and it's coming out alkaline. So this unit does not only do the job of a water softener, taking out all the hard minerals that clog up your plumbing, but it also sanitizes and filters all the water. And on top of that, it converts it to alkaline. It reduces it raises the pH to alkaline. So alkaline is where you want to be. You know, if you're acidic, you're going to be welcoming in cancer and other diseases. So you want to try to keep your body alkaline, which is why a lot of people were spending like, $8, $9 for a little bottle of alkaline water, right? So, all right, so you can see it's interacting just a little bit, but not nearly as much as we did on that one, because I have my hand in here. We'll let it sit even a little bit longer, and we'll see the truth is right in front of you. But your skin takes all this stuff in like a sponge.
How long does it take to install this? It looks pretty simple. It's literally the water main in, connecting to what would have been connected to your water main in.
Yes, so this is the whole house water filtration system from Freedom Water. Again, just one line in, one line out. It forces all the water to go through this filter.
Does this have to be changed? Is there
no, that's a great question. It's one of my favorite parts about this particular brand is that it's maintenance free. And you see, it's a sealed tank. There's no way to even get into it. There's no filters to change, nothing to add. A lot of people have systems like you have to put salt in it or different, materials, or you have to change cartridges out a few times a year. Those are a lot of work and they're expensive as well. This is basically set it and forget it. It's guaranteed for 10 years.
When my dog gets bottled water, I would certainly like to stop spending so much money on bottled water.
It's expensive. It's expensive. Listen, the bottled water industry is a $100 billion a year industry because most people know enough not to drink the water from their tap. So a lot of people, the sales of bottled water is going through the roof. But that doesn't help you for your bathing and all the other contact that we come in. We use water for everything, right? You're showering, you're bathing, you wash your hands, brush your teeth, everything you do, we use for water, and we kind of take it for granted. So, yeah, you can see right now, right? It's like clearly, very yellow and clear. So just that short amount of time, the minute that I have my hand in there, whatever chlorine was...
You pulled the chlorine out of the water.
Into my hand.
That's amazing. It's untouched. Your hand's in there. It pulled the chlorine out, and there's very little left in comparably.
Yeah, and by the way, anybody watching this from home, you can all do this test very easily, just so you know for yourself. You can go into any Walmart or anywhere they sell pool supplies and just get this test kit. It's a really easy way. Just run a couple glasses under your kitchen sink and, put a hand in one.
It's amazing.
You can see the difference right there. So we just want to demonstrate and just let the people know, kind of raise awareness. It's so important to filter all the water that comes into your home, not just the water that we drink,
That's great. Great system. Skip, really good having you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
And
thanks so much for having me.
With the great water grab. Everyone, this is something that everyone should have in the house. Thank you.
I would definitely recommend folks go to their website at freedomwatersystems.com. And right now, Eric, it's a great time to get one of these because they're running an awesome promo for all the RAV viewers. If you put in promo code SKIP26, you can get
look at that right there. Promo code SKIP26, receive $1,000 discount.
Yeah, it's a great deal. It's almost like half price they're offering to people right now. So it's a great time to get one if you want to, have your family be safe from the contaminants in the water.
Freedom Water, Skip Adele. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me, brother.
Oh, I got some chlorine on.
You got chlorine on you.
Thank you, Skip.
Yeah, brother.
All right, folks. We'll be right back.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Hi, this is Kelly Renee from Northern California Hills, MAGA country. The reason I watch Real America's Voice is for the faith, the family, and the freedom. Giddy up!
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Well, just when you thought there couldn't be any more fraud in the United States, guess what there is? This time, Michigan, in disabled adult foster care homes owned and run by Nigerians. Not Somalians this time, Nigerians. Here to discuss the fraud in the state is Senate Republican leader, who's also running for governor, Eric Nesbitt. Eric, the fraud never ending. It seems like it's just another day. I think we're talking about some in Maine or Vermont as well. Tell us what you found. What do you know?
Hey, Eric, thanks for having me on. And under 7 years of Gretchen Whitmer and the Democrats in Lansing ruling Michigan, what we've seen is year after year of waste, fraud, and abuse. State government's growing. More taxes are being taken away from hardworking Michigan citizens. And what we're seeing is this collection of waste, fraud, and abuse that's happening. I mean, this is the same governor that a few years ago was caught giving away $8.5 billion of fraudulent claims on unemployment over COVID. She's the one that's been caught sending out tens of millions of dollars to fraudulent, non-existent nonprofits, or some that were just created the day that she decided to dish out the money. And there's been some reporting just recently this week from Unheard News that's saying that there's these adult foster care. These are folks that are supposed to be taking care of folks that can't take care of themselves, adults with behavioral health issues. And there was reporters that started going around asking questions, empty buildings, Nigerian immigrants who couldn't answer any questions, folks not knowing where the money's actually going. This is wrong. This needs to end, because we know every tax dollar that's taken out of the pocket of working families here in Michigan means it's more expensive for Michigan families to actually make it here in Michigan. We're fighting this waste, fraud, and abuse. Last month, I pushed to have a full audit of our child care system here in Michigan, making sure that every dime's actually going to provide good child care to hardworking families. I'm sorry, but with Governor Whitmer as governor and Dana Nessel as Attorney General here in Michigan, the waste, fraud, and abuse just continues to grow, and we have to stop it. We have to hold people accountable.
So, Eric, tell us what kind of numbers we're talking about. We were blown away that in Minneapolis, we heard $9 billion. Trump yesterday claimed up to $19 billion in waste. Well, I could call it fraud. I'm not sure it's waste at all. It's just straight up fraud. What kind of numbers are you looking at maybe in Michigan? Do we even have a handle on that yet?
I mean, this is probably $1 billion program, but we don't know. Again, there's good operators out there, but how much of it is actually going to gangsters and fraudsters and folks that are cheating the system? This is the importance of making sure that we have a full audit of this, that we bring in the Department of Justice to help us do this audit, because we know what Governor Whitmer will do. She'll sweep it under the rug, just like what Tim Walz, her buddy in Minnesota, did the last few years. We can't let that happen here in Michigan. That's why I'm running for governor, is that we get out the waste, fraud, and abuse, that we hold people accountable, and that we make sure that every family and job creator and kid can actually make it in Michigan again.
I want to get to your running for governor in just a second, but I want to talk a little bit about how this happened. So 84 people at last check were arrested in Minneapolis, and it stemmed from a white female U.S. citizen who was in charge of doling out, or at least keeping an eye on some of these outlays. And she was just allowing these things to go on unchecked. I understand Gretchen Whitmer appointed a Nigerian to oversee the similar type of situation in Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, there was a partner of Gretchen Whitmer that just got charged with $1.5 million of stealing money from the state. That's going to court. There's a former Democrat treasurer that was just caught and being taken to court for hundreds of thousands of dollars that she stole from an elderly person. I mean, this is stuff that's not being covered by the mainstream news. It's unfortunate they continue to cover it up, just like what they did with Tim Walz in Minnesota. And you're right, it's probably billions of dollars. Last year, House Republicans found thousands of what we call ghost employees. They're employees that were funded, that were never hired, that were never actually put into the field, and yet there was money that was still going out. It's wrong. It needs to end. And this is why it's so important that folks like you are uncovering this so that we can hold them accountable this year and then actually hold them accountable in court.
I'll take it one step further, Eric. Here's the issue, folks. I mean, you really have to understand this. Money is fungible, right? And what that means, if I put $10 in this pocket and pay for something $5 out of here, it's still the same money, right? So when the federal government gives the states of Michigan or Minnesota money, and they use the other money for things like this or lose money through this, taxpayer money is being lost. Not just Michigan taxpayer money, American taxpayer money is being lost. It's fungible. Where's Pam Bondi?
Well, this is where we sent the letter to, and they said they received it today. People need to be held accountable. You're exactly right. This is what the Department of Justice is there for. Because believe me, we can't trust our Attorney General here in Michigan, Dana Nessel. She's saying she's doing an investigation on some of this fraud and gangsters and abuse, but we know that these Democrats in Lansing just cover for themselves. It's wrong. It needs to end. Fortunately, that we have President Trump that's willing to actually take this to the people and actually hold people accountable. And my hope is that Pam Bondi and the folks at the Department of Justice actually step up and do their job on this.
I don't know the answer to this. Is Gretchen Whitmer term limited, or is she up for re-election and you're running against her?
Yeah, she's termed out this year, and so there's somebody even less competent and more liberal running named Jocelyn Benson. Mm-hmm. This is a Secretary of State, kind of like a Katie Hobbs experience right here, where she let Chinese nationals vote in our elections a few years ago. She has 104% of adults that are actually registered to vote in Michigan. We can't let her get anywhere close to the governor's office. A less competent, more liberal Gretchen Whitmer, that's the last person we need as governor here in Michigan. It's going to be important.
Has Michigan come back to right, to the red, voting for Trump? Is it red again? Because it was red when I grew up. Michigan was conservative, then it became blue. Where is it now?
Yeah, I think with President Trump winning Michigan in 2024, we were the only state that actually flipped the House from Democrat to Republican in the nation. That I feel very positive we go into this fall with Mike Rogers running against some extremist Bernie Gal or Bernie Bro in the U.S. Senate. We have a great opportunity to pick up a U.S. Senate seat here in Michigan, and this is a crossroads we're at. Is that where are we going as a state? Is that are we going to become a state that has less population, less incomes, less affordable, with less kids that are learning? Are we going to shake up the status quo, burn down the bureaucracy, and make sure that every parent has choice, every kid can read, every person has an opportunity to get a job, a good paying job here in the state? Because if we do nothing here in Michigan, we're going to be a poorer, dumber, less prosperous state.
Well, we're going to leave it there. Eric Nesbitt, you're running for governor. It's a pretty big field running for governor, but I like what you're up to, closing some of these waste, fraud, and abuse issues, and maybe we find a way to just stop with Dearborn and this whole hat tip to Muslims having at least even no-go zones within certain states and municipalities in America. It's just, I mean, last time I heard, Dearborn had the ringing of the bells for prayers a couple times a day, just as a hat tip to the Muslim population. This is America, folks. I'm not racist. I'm not bigoted. I just think when you come to America, you live like Americans, not like you live in the country you're coming from. That's just my personal opinion here. Yeah, go ahead. Final thought.
Eric, it's going to take a farm boy to clean up this mess here in Michigan, and that's what I'm doing. They expect a governor that works just as hard as they do. And that's what I'm going to do as governor, is clean up all this mess. American laws, one Constitution. That's what we're doing.
You let us, you'll keep in touch with us, and we'll keep talking about how that race is going. Eric Nesbitt, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Folks, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Hi, this is Kelly Renee from Northern California Hills, MAGA country. The reason I watch Real America's Voice is for the faith, the family, and the freedom. Giddy up!
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
Hi, folks. You're looking live at Mardi Gras in Nolens, Louisiana, folks. Celebration for Mardi Gras, I should say, because as we all know, next week is Fat Tuesday, where everyone, the theory is you party like it's 1999, get it out of your system, because Ash Wednesday, you make a commitment to give something up. So you party first. So it's starting a little early this year, should we say. Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday next week. Chuck Schumer just loved making Americans suffer through a shutdown. Chuck and his comrades dream at night about doing bad things to the country, all in the name of sticking it to Donald Trump. Well, Chucky is super excited again, and not just because this weekend is here and he can flip burgers in a way that makes any real American, red-blooded American shudder. No, Chucky can't wait because he's just dying to shut down the Department of Homeland Security tonight. Oh, and hey, Chuck, by the way, desperate and despite your evil dreams, ICE isn't going to be impacted. But sure is nice to know that the Senate Minority Leader of the United States of America is so informed.
So as you all know, from day one I've said unless there are really strong, meaningful reforms to rein in ICE and stop the violence, there will not be Democratic votes to fund ICE and extend the awful status quo that now exists. Today's strong vote was a shot across the bow to Republicans. Democrats will not support a blank check for chaos.
Yep. Democrats shut down, folks. Midnight tonight, if it happens. Jacob Fry is an absolute joke. Mayor of Somalia and Elmer Fraud, Somalia West, and Elmer Fraud supported, even incited violence and chaos in their state. And now they think they deserve federal compensation, meaning taxpayer money, to cover and pay for their idiocy and fraud.
Governor Walz was talking about that as well, and he said he wants federal compensation because of what happened in Minnesota. Right. He said you don't get to break things and then just leave without doing something about it. Do you agree with that there should be federal compensation?
I do. To give you an idea of the damage that we have collectively experienced, this has indeed been catastrophic. Now, to be clear, we're not victims here. We are tough. We've got the kind of grit in Minneapolis that I think is admirable. We're going to make an extraordinary comeback. And of course, we have to acknowledge the impact on people, on children, on small and local businesses, on our economy.
So rioters rip up the streets, people get killed, money is spent, and you support them, and then you want to be compensated by the federal government that was trying to stop all of that. Nice. Good luck with that. Elmer Fudd and Jacob Fry, so to speak. I think it's kind of crazy that the folks over at CNN actually still believe that they're doing unbiased reporting, but that's just what the raging mind virus of Trump derangement syndrome does to you. You don't even know you're doing it when you're doing it. I guess that's probably why they didn't even notice how they've also almost lost 2/3 of their viewership since 2016. Oops.
They always argue the media is biased against them and doesn't cover them fairly, even though we cover them, I think, fairly and accurately. You want the focus to be on the subject matter and not on you personally as a reporter. And so I always try to, keep that distance in terms of that. And I think keeping your composure in that point is important because you never want to prove them right on that front, that they are right, that you're biased against them or that you have a personal, angst here. I don't.
Cable news loses about 8% of their audience every single year. It's been going on for 10 years. It'll continue to do that. But CNN and MSNBC have lost an inordinate number, way more than 8% each year. They're getting smoked. Fox and right-wing channels are picking it up. Real America's Voice, picking up all those folks who are realizing it's just propaganda that they're watching when they watch CNN and MSNBC. This was a great moment on Thursday between Ohio Republican Senator Bernie Moreno and Soros-funded Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. This guy, this guy rubs me the wrong way. I cannot stand this man. It's so easy to trip up these Democrats because nothing they believe in actually makes any sense at all.
Not a big shot lawyer like you. Just a quick question. If you enter the country illegally or you overstay a visa, should you be deported?
My simple answer is, sir, it depends.
Okay, so if somebody breaks into your home, should they be arrested for breaking and entering, or does it depend?
It's an entirely different scenario.
How's that?
Because immigration is essentially a civil, and breaking into my home is a criminal matter.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So if there's laws that should be enforced, so we shouldn't enforce civil violations?
We absolutely should enforce them.
But you just said that it's a civil matter, so it's different. So if somebody
you enforce civil matters.
So if somebody commits a civil infraction, it shouldn't be enforced?
It should be.
Okay, so they should be deported.
No, they should have due process that is associated with their petition. So, for example,
so the act of entering the country illegally, you think we should say, well, did you really do it or not do it? It's pretty obvious that they did, right?
Well, I mean, it would depend on the facts of the situation.
The scary part is it's not that he's a raging liberal lunatic who will twist, facts to his. It's that he's the top lawmaker in the state of Minnesota, the top attorney general right there. Horrible people. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley also got to expose Ellison at the hearing, and right from the get-go, you could tell it was going to be a great exchange.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ellison, let me start with you. You're the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota. Do I have that correct? That's a yes?
Sir, you're aware of my job. You know the answer to that.
You're not going to answer my questions? Are we going to start this way? Are you the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, yes or no?
You know the answer.
Mr. Ellison, you're in my courtroom now. You're under oath. So I suggest that you answer my questions. You the chief law enforcement officer of the state of Minnesota? Yes or no? Let's try another question. Are you familiar with the $9 billion in historic fraud out of your state, including the $250 million in the Feeding Our Future program alone? Are you familiar with that? Don't turn to the pages in your book to get your potted answers. Are you familiar with it? Yes or no?
Yes, I am familiar with it.
Very familiar, aren't you? But don't talk over me. As early as 2019, it's my hearing, pal. As early as 2019,
don't call me
whistleblowers came to, well, I should call you prisoner because you ought to be in jail.
Well, we'll see what you can do
about it. In 2019, whistleblowers came to you in your office and referred to you fraud allegations from Feeding Our Futures, and you blew them off.
It's so easy. He's so easy. They're trying to lie. They can't lie, especially when you have smart guys doing the questioning. That was great. Those are great. And what a smug SOB that Keith Ellison is, folks. Just rubs me the wrong way. All right. We just premiered a brand new and important Edge episode yesterday, and it's one of our best. Did you know right now, artificial intelligence, this is amazing. What they're using, artificial intelligence through your phone, through your everything you do, all your activities, they know more about you than you even know about yourself, including how much you're willing to pay for something. So when you go into some stores in America right now, today, you can be in the same store with the same person right over there, buy the same product at the same time, go to checkout aisle, get two different prices. Did you know that? Because they know you're able to pay more, you're willing to pay more through your algorithm. Watch. The grocery store. Picture this. You walk into a store after work. You're exhausted. You're hungry. You just want to pick something up and go home. It's been a long day. The system knows that. It knows your phone, your routine, your spending patterns. The price you see is not the best price. It's the maximum price the algorithm thinks you'll tolerate. Is that fair? It's not what's equal, but the max, and they know from your own history, they know the max and they know you'll fork it over. By the way, that's not capitalism. Capitalism requires transparency. This is algorithmic extraction, and it doesn't stop at income. All right, folks, we are exploding. We're growing so fast. I just want you to use your camera, hit that QR code right there if you can. If you don't worry. Either go to Google it or go right to YouTube, Eric Bolling and The Edge. Put them both together. Get there, subscribe. You'll get all that information. Never going to charge you a thing. Just want you part of it. Thank you for watching Rav. Thank you for watching Bowling at 4 o'clock on Rav. And also thank you for going over to The Edge and subscribing. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
Hi, this is Kelly Renee from Northern California Hills, MAGA country. The reason I watch Real America's Voice is for the faith, the family, and the freedom. Giddy up!
This is Tim King, also known as USS Malik, and I love Real America's Voices for its like-minded programming and the chat. Love you guys.
All right, do you watch the Super Bowl? Do you remember this commercial, this new Ring commercial, Ring cameras? The one that Amazon dropped during the Super Bowl, the warm, fuzzy little ad about finding a lost puppy. Well, behind the cute golden retriever, something whole lot darker, because what they were really selling wasn't pet safety. It was the idea that a neighborhood-wide, always-on surveillance grid is just, pure wholesome fun, community fun, safety, looking out for the puppies. Don't worry, everyone's camera is going to be watching everything you do all the time. Isn't that great? George Orwell is spinning in his grave right now, because think about what it actually means. If this system can track a dog across an entire town, it can also track you, and it will. It can track your entire family, your every move, your habits. All of that information stored, analyzed, and ready to be accessed by whoever decides they deserve a peek. Personal liberty gone. Privacy no more. We're not talking about science fiction here. It's happening right now. But it's being marketed with soft music and puppy eyes, so no one notices the freedoms being chipped away underneath us. And we've seen this playbook before. Violation of privacy rolled out as convenience. Don't worry, it's just a safety measure. It's just a temporary solution until it's not temporary, because once those cameras are on and rolling, they will never turn off. Trust me. Welcome to the surveillance. I almost said it. Welcome to the surveillance state, folks. And if you haven't heard much about this story, well, you will now, and you'll hear much more of these kinds of stories. We just launched the brand new weekly libertarian newsletter. We call it Bowling Weekly. We dig into this story, the ad, the very real threat behind it, because these kinds of stories rarely get the coverage they deserve, and almost never from the perspective that actually matter. How your freedom, your privacy, and your personal liberty are being eroded in real time. So if this Ring story made you raise an eyebrow, good, it should. If you want more like that, we're cutting through the noise, telling you what's really going on. So look out, make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. You can find it on my website, ericbolling.com. You can find it on all my social medias at Eric Bolling across all the social media platforms. All right, how about this one? This weekend, Real America's Voice, Steve Bannon, hosting a very special war room entitled The 500 Days of Tina Peters. Tune in on Saturday, February 14th, 11 a.m., and February 15th, Sunday at 2 p.m. You won't want to miss it. All right, we got a little time, Ben, for a voicemail or two.
Yes, sir. We have a viewer wants to know how they can find out which Republicans to primary.
Eric, somebody has to force Toon to have a vote regarding a filibuster so that we can know what Republican rhinos need to be what you call primaried. Without them having a vote, you have no idea where they really stand. Thanks.
You're so right, sir. Not only Thune, yes, on this issue, on the SAVE Act is what you're talking about. I agree with it, but it should be everyone. This is why Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, and the House side, doesn't bring votes when Trump he's doing executive orders. Johnson won't bring it to a vote because he's worried about which rhino is going to get exposed. Because if Trump is putting an executive order, you're pretty damn well sure a conservative, America First, a real conservative, a MAGA congressman or woman would vote for it, right? But the ones that, and they have the House, they can get it past the House. He doesn't bring them because he knows there are rhinos that are going to vote against it, and he wants to protect rhinos. Mike Johnson, John Thune, get rid of them. Benny.
We have a viewer who wants more attention on the Epstein files.
Hi, Eric Bolling. I watch your show all the time. I think you're fantastic. My name is TJ, and I'm from Liberty, Texas. And I'm calling because I did watch the halftime show, of course I did, with Turning Point USA. It was beautiful. But I'm just feeling kind of sad about these Epstein files coming out, and nobody is outraged or I can't believe what's in them, what they're doing to the children, the horrible things that are happening in our country. And it seems like it's being pushed on the back burner when we should be going after these people and stopping this. And everybody's worried about the Super Bowl when children are being tortured and hurt in this way. It just makes me very sad that people aren't more upset and causing more of a commotion about what's really happening in this world. And you have a great day and a great weekend.
Well, TJ from Liberty, Texas, what a great name for a town. You're right. I agree with you. And it tends not to be a popular opinion because, let's be honest, President Trump doesn't want to talk about it. He said there's no here, there. And I agree with the folks who say, Pam Bondi, you promised some perp walks, you promised some arrests. Let's see them. It doesn't matter. Howard Lutnick, all right, call him. Why is this guy? I won't go into Howard Lutnick. I agree with you, ma'am. I think the transparency matters. These folks, look, Goldman Sachs just let someone go. It's happening around the world. We need to know who did what and when, and maybe we need to clean house a little bit. That's my opinion. Sorry if it